Look at this. All these are bank repossessions. As far as your eyes can see.
Dale!
You'll see I got the repo man following me. Let's see how far he can chase me.
So we're getting to that time of the year where car repossessions are at its peak, along with them being at the highest levels in general in the past 15 years since the '08 financial crisis, which I don't have to tell you is definitely not a good sign, but I thought it would be interesting to take a look at what's happening right now. The types of vehicles being repoed, the types of lenders, the interest rates, the prices, everything that goes into it. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just take a look at some of these repo lots.
Look at this. All these are bank repossessions. As far as your eyes can see, all of these are a manifestation of bad financial decisions, over leveraging credit and budget, and unfortunately it ends up in a lot like this where it's going to be sold at auction, cycled back into the car market at a fraction of the cost. 2025 Toyota Camry repo, all Suburbans, Audis, Toyotas, Ram 3500s, Jeeps, a bunch of luxury cars. 2024 Kia Telluride with only 16,000 miles repoed. Dealer charged $3,000 for a thorough inspection and reconditioning fee and $1,000 for interior protection, which is an additional $4,000 on an already inflated MSRP of $47,380. On a car like this, I guarantee you out the door is right around $60,000. If you had decent credit, you had probably a 13 to 15% interest loan, a car like this would be easily over $1,000. And don't even forget your car insurance.
Imagine paying over sticker and a 15% interest rate for a Kia. Like he said, over $1,000 a month. So no wonder why you see videos like this with just a sea of vehicles that are all repoed. Some of the comments repoed to be resold and repoed again. If you saw my buy here, pay here video that I made a few months ago on this channel, a good amount of those vehicles' purposes are specifically for that. The dealerships know that the customers are barely going to make the payments, maybe a couple months. They'll repo the car and resell it again, over and over and over. Some of the Carfaxes had double-digit owners that were all repossessions. Temporary tags and already repoed. Saw a Facebook post that said, I have 350 credit score. What kind of car could I get? And someone replied, a bicycle. Well, we are going to see a little bit later people having some really rough credit scores with repossessions in their history, and they still end up going to a dealership. But we have a comment from one of you guys. There's a custodian in the hospital that I work at. He makes $15 an hour and lives in New Jersey and rents an apartment for $1,400 a month. He financed a Dodge Charger Scat Pack for $80,000 for 80 months and $900. His insurance is $200 a month. If he doesn't work 30 hours of overtime weekly, he cannot make ends meet monthly. And he legitimately got mad at him when I called him stupid for buying that car. Not joking, he was genuinely mad at me. Basically just working yourself to a bone all for a single vehicle. It honestly just sounds crazy to me.
So I want you to check this line behind me right here. A majority of these vehicles that are behind me are actually repossessed vehicles. And we're seeing more right now during this time of year than we usually see, even with the record rates of repossessions, the record rates of auto loan delinquencies that we're experiencing right now. They have even jumped over the last little time period. And I'll tell you why, because we are actually in the peak right now of repo season. Yes, there is a repo season. What happens? Well, people go with their tax checks, their money from the government, and well, it's their money. The government gets to hold it, and then they get their money back, their refund, around the same time of year, into February, beginning of March. They go and they drop it on a down payment for a car. They drive it for about a month, and then they stop making payments on it. And that's what happens. A lot of cars come and get repossessed right at the beginning of summer because people just stop making payments on their new car that they thought they can actually afford when they could not.
So we also touched on this a little bit when I talked about the tax refund season. People taking all the money that is rightfully theirs, the government just held on to it and ended up giving it back, but they would blow it on a down payment on a luxury car or go to Disney, vacations, and then they're right back to square one, paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by. And I guess this is almost a yearly event. Right around the summertime, you start seeing a lot more of those repos, the people who couldn't actually afford that Mercedes-Benz or luxury SUV, whatever they got. And I mean, here's another clip right here, watching the car I bought with taxes get repoed because I couldn't afford it anymore. If you could barely afford the down payment in the first place and the only reason you were able to was because you got your yearly tax refund, when you signed the contract showing the monthly payments, you had to know that you weren't going to afford it in the end.
Dealership's fun, but sometimes it's not. We just had to repo this car from a customer. They didn't make their first payment. Bank issued a buyback, so we had to buy this car back. We repoed it last night, but luckily we were able to recover it. And let me show you guys the car and tell you a little bit more about the story. So yeah, guys, it's been about 45 days since we sold this car. They missed their first payment, so we had to repo the car. The tires are pretty much shot right here. And if you come around, here's the damage. This car was sold 45 days ago. It was in super mint condition. And look at the condition of the vehicle right now. This is a mismatched wheel. I don't know what the other tire is. Hopefully it's in the trunk. But yeah, man.
So even though it was only $20,000, of course, it was still a Mercedes. I believe it's the A220, but basically the cheapest Mercedes you could get, and this person didn't even last 2 months. Missed the first payment and destroyed the car. We have another comment here. I'm a cop in a large city and we have dudes rent rims. We get calls where they'd walk out in the morning and their cars are on blocks because their rims got repoed. I mean, that sounds absolutely insane to me, but we have another one. One of the very high-class luxury vehicles getting repoed almost immediately.
Repossessions at the auction is insane. This is wild. This is a 2021 7 Series BMW, right? It's only got 26,000 miles. But look at the bank that repossessed it. American Credit Acceptance. That's like the low of the low 500 credit score. You don't pay nobody, but you make some income bank. You couldn't afford the car. Why'd you buy it? So I just pulled the Carfax. They bought this in February on the 24th day. Bruh, you ain't even had a car 2 months. That means you missed your first payment. Like, that's wild crazy. Stop trying to impress the internet. Nobody gives a shit what you drive. Buy what you can afford. Make it to work every day. Pick your kids up from soccer practice.
So there are certain companies that will basically accept anybody for a loan, but because of that, the interest rate in the whole term is going to be really rough, and doing it on a 7 Series BMW. It was a 2021, so honestly, the depreciation was probably pretty significant, but still wildly expensive because brand new, they are a 6-figure vehicle. Some of the comments, how in the world do you miss your first payment? American Credit Acceptance is terrible. Trying to impress my neighbor, I mean, all of that kind of stuff. And we have another comment from you guys. Vehicles are the kryptonite of financial freedom. Don't be caught in the web of auto hamster wheels. Only buy what you could pay for cash unless you have outrageous income, which most people do not have. But the previous clip really said it perfectly. Trying to flex for Instagram, the neighbors, your friends and family, because you see other random influencers or celebrities showing off their Range Rovers and G-Wagons in front of their big mansions. Which, if we're talking about influencers, a good amount of time that's just completely fake, but it seems like everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, make it look like they have more wealth than they do, and unfortunately that turns into getting repossessed. And oh man, are there a ton of crazy clips online when that happens.
I'm gonna keep my car here right now.
You're not. It's gonna come with me.
Okay, well then I'm going with you.
You can't ride
Oh
on the road.
well, yes I will. Oh God, I will.
Dale!
I'm gonna get out. I'm here so he knows.
So yeah, if you want to look this up yourself, there are entire compilations, YouTube channels just showing the outrageous stuff that happens during these repos. But of course, this is the internet and social media, and there's a whole bunch of people that just don't take it seriously at all.
My car's getting repoed immediately. Bye. Bye. Car.
Yo, see, I got the repo man following me. Let's see how far he can chase me.
So real quick, by the reaction to her disabling comments, you probably understand the reaction of everybody watching that last clip, but we could go over to the first clip with the woman getting a C-Class repoed. Of course, another Mercedes. Say hello to a hard credit hit for the next 7 years. You're laughing like it's a flex, but they know that this type of video will gain some sort of attention online, so they'll still do it. We have another clip right here that I thought the comment section was very interesting, but car got repossessed again. It was just a couple second clip with some copyrighted audio. Everybody's everybody's going through it, just a test of our faith. Happened to me a few months ago. God told me to not get another one. He was going to bless me with one. 3 months later, got a phone call and gifted a paid for car, just like he said. I don't know how much I believe that. Does that mean she had a phone call with God and it just appeared in her driveway? What did you do for the last 90 days if you didn't have a vehicle before that? I mean, overall, you could be religious, you could believe in whatever you want, I don't really care. But this has come up a few times talking about different topics financially, people putting their money, their financial future in the faith of God. I still remember somebody saying that God told him to make the Jesus meme coin. Absolutely insane stories like that, but probably not the safest thing to do when we're talking about your financial future, but we'll move on.
He wants to get an approval. He says he doesn't have the best credit. Unless I told him we can help him out.
Okay, we got lenders that'll help credit challenge out. Not a problem. Let's see what we've got, what we're working with here.
Biggest thing is he wants to get this all accomplished while putting no money down.
No money down?
No money.
Okay, well, let's see. Let me submit it. We wait here. All right. So he's a 495.
We can work with that.
So we might be able to work with that. Let's see what we got. Well, he does have a Exeter repo.
Okay.
He does also have a Santander repo.
Okay.
And a Capital One repo. And a AmeriCredit repo. So that's all the banks currently that we have. I've got a couple other ones. I think we can get him done. We might be able to find somebody that he can burn again.
Okay.
So can you put any money down whatsoever?
I'll see if I can get like $500, $750.
How about all of it?
So this is basically guaranteed to happen again. And of course, the dealership is going to try to get the deal done, possibly get some money out of him with the down payment before the car gets repoed once again, and the cycle will somehow just continue. I mean, we could look at some of the comments. Bro, 4 repos are actually insane. Get out of the dealership. Meanwhile, I have a 683 credit score and can't get out of my Explorer with no repos. Probably underwater, especially if you bought in the past couple years, anything over MSRP. Ally said he's approved 30% down, 36% interest, GPS monitored vehicle, $800 a month for 84 months. That'll probably be the deal, but I guess it doesn't matter if they're not going to pay at all anyway. After hearing all of that, I think he's fortunate to have a 495 credit score. Another comment from one of you guys, a friend of mine years ago leased a Trailblazer SS for $1,400 a month. Wasn't long before he had to hide it from the repo truck that kept looking for him at work. Once he realized it was over for him, he did donuts until he broke the transmission, realizing later after it sold for nothing at auction, he got sued for the rest. It's not like you just give up the vehicle and yeah, of course, take a credit hit for a long time, but you could still get sued for the damages in the end. But up next, we have another video that I don't particularly agree with, but it does bring up at least somewhat of a good point.
One of the main reasons why people get repos is not because they can't afford the payment, it's because they bought a high mileage car that was out of warranty, they declined the service contract so they have no warranty on it, and then something went wrong with the car. A lot of people that come to the dealership, when something goes wrong on the car and they got to pay out of pocket for it, they say, I'm not paying for the car anymore, so they just leave the car. That's why they have repos. It's not because they can't afford it, they just don't want to pay it. And this is why when I work with bad credit customers, I pretty much tell them to buy the warranty because they get approved on higher mileage cars. God forbid something was to happen, because things really do happen. If something happens, the warranty pays out. You're not paying out of pocket. I don't know about you guys, dishing out $4 or $5 grand for repair is crazy.
So overall, the goal for this video is that this car salesman is trying to sell people warranties, which I mean real quick, we'll look at the comments. Warranties doesn't work. 2 times Toyota warranty made an excuse that it was wear and tear. Meanwhile, the car is still under warranty. I had to pay out of pocket and they played me twice, not anymore. Most aftermarket warranties are not worth the paper they're written on. A lot of comments like that, but I don't think the majority of repos are because of very high repair costs, but I do think it brings up a good point for at least some of it, especially if we're talking about modern vehicles. Everything is so difficult to repair now, so many electronics, all the tech, that if one little thing breaks, you might have to replace a ton of different parts. So these repair bills become absolutely monstrous. Along with you barely keeping up with the monthly payments because of how expensive that's gotten, I think there is something to be said when it comes to people just letting these cars go, letting them get repoed because the prices are just way too much. Again, I don't think it's a majority of the repos that are happening right now. And again, he was just trying to sell warranties in this video, but could definitely be a problem down the line as well when these modern cars that are made very poorly start getting into the 5, 10, 15-year-old category and will need a lot more maintenance to keep running.
Calling a customer on her 2019 Honda Civic. She owes about $23,000. She wants to get out of it. So let's give her a call.
Hello?
I'm calling about your 2019 Honda Civic you want to get rid of.
Basically, it's either I'm trying to give it back upon internal repo because I can't afford it anymore. It's like 611 months plus my insurance is like 460 something.
You're trying to give it back, you said? You're cutting out again.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving it back, and then I saw you on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, let me see.
You meant like you wanted the bank to come and repo it.
Yeah.
How's your credit?
472.
472.
So this one's a little bit different of a situation, a voluntary repo, or at least a future voluntary repo with 472 credit, paying $1,000 a month, $600 a month for the car, and another $400 for insurance on a currently 6-year-old Honda Civic. I mean, we could go into the comments, what has she done that her insurance is $450 a month? With a 472 credit score, let them come and repo it. What else do you have to lose? I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about the luxury cars that are getting repoed because of the crazy high prices and a lot of people can't really afford them. But again, this is a plain economy car, a 6-year-old base Honda Civic that still ended up being $1,000 a month because her credit score was terrible and her insurance was really high as well. Something must have happened previously, but we can move on to another comment from you guys. I work in the auto industry. Repos cannot take the car if someone's in the vehicle. There was a lady that we tried to repo for more than a year. Every time she left her house, she had her teenage son sit in the car, so the repo people couldn't do anything. At home, she blocked the car in with other cars around it. She didn't make any payments for over a year. When she slipped up, they took the car and she was also arrested and is now facing several years in prison. Okay. Because I bet you've probably seen the repo content creators all over TikTok where they have like the GoPro 360 camera mounted on their tow truck so you could see everything that's happening. And they just show what they go through on their day-to-day lives, repoing people's cars, getting into a whole bunch of arguments, people chasing them down. I mean, it's crazy. Along with the repossessions booming right now, you'd probably think that this might be a pretty lucrative job for a while, but this kind of stuff can definitely be dangerous. I mean, the clip up on screen right now, man pulls out a bat after noticing his car is getting repossessed. So I mean, in this job market, it definitely would seem like a pretty steady stream of work right now, but it definitely comes with its negatives.
Did y'all see that repo man that got his head ran over trying to repo a car? He got under the car to hook it up for the repo, but someone had jumped in the driver's seat, put it in reverse, and floop right over his head. Now, in that person's defense, I don't think that they just knew that he was underneath the car. But either way, you done ran over this man's head. And you're probably saying, well, repo man, why didn't you get up when someone got in the car and crank it up? But I think that he was under the impression that since he had the car blocked in, they didn't have nowhere to go. But a repo runner will always find a way.
So I'm not going to show it, but you could probably look up the clip if you really want to. And we've seen previously people get shot because of the repossessions. I mean, it's a lot more dangerous when you think when overall it's not the fault of the repo man you're losing your car. You clearly didn't make the payments. He's just doing his job, but can be collateral damage.
There's going to be a huge price correction on used cars, and let me show you guys why. The 2022 Dodge Charger Hellcat that was just repoed. This is a beautiful car. This car has 70,000 miles on it in only 2 years. Another really nice car is a 2022 Toyota Camry TRD Pro. These are really nice cars, and they're pretty expensive, but it was just repoed. There's this 2023 G-Wagon G63. So you got damage there. Looks like they try to like break into this car or something. The tires are shot. The rear tire is flat, as you can see. And it's crazy to think that $100,000+ car was repoed. This is such a nice car, guys, but they did not take care of this car at all. Look at the inside, it's filthy, smells like weed, dirty. Sad, sad, sad. Here's the truck. This one's got wheel suspension, lifts, etc. It's got some rust right there. Yo, who knows what that is? This one's got 18,000 miles and it was repoed. And look at this one, guys. It's a 2024 Chevy 2500.
I mean, I cut the video off there, but it just keeps going on and on, showing all of these really nice vehicles at the repo lots. I mean, a G-Wagon, the MSRP is, I think, $160,000, but they're still like around $200,000 vehicles now. And I think a comment from one of you guys goes very well with specifically those vehicles. Social media accelerated this cycle. People always want to impress others around them by looking rich. But with social media, you add strangers into the mix too. It's even worse now that the algorithms will always find somebody richer than you to compare to. It's a lot easier than you think to look a lot richer than you are, especially if you're in the LA area where so many influencers, content creators live. You'll have 20 different people renting out a single mansion, and then all of them making individual videos, making it look like they own it. Same thing with all the vehicles. You could go to a supercar rental company, rent the Lamborghini and the G-Wagon and whatever for a weekend, make 50 different pieces of content along with all of your friends doing it at the same time, splitting the costs, and then those videos will go viral and all normal people end up seeing it and wanting to do the same thing. And that's how you get the lifted trucks and the G-Wagon and the 7 Series BMW earlier with the other Mercedes, all getting repoed at the end of the day.
We got a gateway past due.
1 month residence time, 6 months job time.
Okay. What kind of money?
Total of 400 between her down payment and her insurance.
Okay. What kind of income? What kind of income?
Terrible.
Is it terrible?
So minimal. Half of her income that she put it on there is her home health aid personal client that pays her in just cash that she doesn't even deposit.
So she's a 480 credit score. We got
about maybe $1,200 to $1,500 a month. She just called the job to see about getting a check stub sent over.
And she's got $400 to which she's got to get insurance out of and use all $139 left for a down payment. This doesn't sound overly promising. This doesn't sound like something I would like spend a lot of time with. I don't think this lady has any business buying a car right now. I don't think we want to be a part of the next repossession because it's coming. So we don't want to participate in the next repossession, man.
So it seems like some people are just going to be stuck in their ways, still going to the dealership, even when these dealerships don't want to take part in it because they know how bad the situation is. That's crazy. But I wanted to end off this video on a different note. I know almost everything that we've seen today is people overreaching, purchasing vehicles they truly can't afford. But in today's world, with the job market and the high cost of living, there are still a good amount of people getting car repossessions because they're just really struggling to get by. It's not like they're trying to show off, be super fancy. They're just trying to survive, and it's become so hard to do so.
Well, TikTok, I lost everything. I was out of a job for 4 months, barely got a part-time job. That's not enough to pay for the car payment that I have coming up. I lost. I don't know. I don't know how you guys all make money online. I don't know how you guys, I tried. Car's going to get repossessed. Where am I going to work? Where am I going to live? How am I going to get to work? I don't know. But, goddamn. That's it, TikTok. I give up. Life, you won. You beat me up.
So I definitely know that there are a lot of people struggling right now. But if you are somebody that's getting a little bit more income than maybe the national average or just what you've been getting previously, I would highly suggest just saving that money, not trying to show off and buy a new vehicle right now. Even with the car market starting to cool down and a lot of vehicles sitting on the lots, more deals are popping up in dealership sales, whatever they want to call it, because the economy is definitely still pretty shaky right now and none of us really know what's going to happen in the future.
The U.S. auto loans delinquent by 90 days or more has reached a level beyond COVID level, right? As June 30th, 2025, we have almost a 5% delinquency level that is 90 days or more. Let's look at a 5-year chart. We're reaching pretty much what we had during COVID. Now, a lot of this was subsidized money. There was a lot of deferments, a lot of aid from the government to help people during COVID times. But now people are starting to see things are getting more expensive and people are unfortunately can't catch up and can't catch a breath. There's even an article that was posted that Americans are behind on car payments at a record level. As you can see, most of the auto loan delinquencies come from subprime borrowers. If you're subprime, that means you've had some prior issues with your credit. Right now, 6.6% of subprime auto borrowers were at least 60 days past due on their loans in January 2025. This is the highest level since the agency began collecting data.
Taking out 84-month loans might not have been the best idea. I mean, along with the talks of the 15-year car loan, I would be surprised if some of the modern day cars even last 15 years with how terrible the quality is. But we're now seeing record high levels since they started collecting this data. And I know a lot of the examples that we see online are really expensive luxury SUVs or pickup trucks, all getting repossessed because, surprise, surprise, most people can't afford a six-figure vehicle, but that doesn't mean that economy brands aren't racking up on the repo lots as well.
Toyota's repos don't stop. They're a printing money machine. They're I'll repossess your car before you know it machine. Look at the Toyota repo field. Everything is a Toyota repo. Let's go take a look at what kind of cars and trucks have been repossessed. This is where dealers get their good deals. We come here and we buy repos. And it's bittersweet, right? You're coming up off somebody else's downfall. But that's what keeps us in business. We buy it at a fair price. We sell it at a fair price.
I don't know if they sell it at a fair price, but these are Toyotas. They aren't Lexuses or Mercedes-Benz. I do know overall Toyotas have gone up in price pretty significantly over the past few years because they're supposed to be known for their reliability, while many other manufacturers are just bringing out terrible vehicles. But there are many other examples similar to this. We've seen this one up on screen recently that was legitimately a sea of vehicles that were all repossessions. Any make and model you could think of, they were just constantly being auctioned off for dealers to buy. The guy in the video also said that they go through 1,000 cars a day on the lot that he was filming. So imagine what that's looking like all across the country. We have a comment from one of you guys. Decades ago, I worked as a mechanic at a nice used car place. Tax return time was crazy. One day we sold the lot out and the local police pulled in to ask if we were robbed. We had sold around 30 cars that day. Because if you've seen a lot of dealers talk about tax return time, there are many people out there that will get their returns, maybe a few $1,000s, and immediately put a down payment on a brand new vehicle. And as the months go by, the repo market starts to boom. So many people end up falling behind, not legitimately being able to afford it in the first place, and this cycle continues almost every year. Now, with the past few clips talking about the dealer auctions, so many people ask if there's any way for you to specifically buy a car off of one of these auction sites. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You need a dealer's license, but something that I've started to see pop up online has to be some sort of scam. There's a lot of clips like this, asking price $10,000 and the down payment is only $1,200 for a brand new Dodge Durango. This isn't the only page that I've seen do this. It's just called Bank Repo Car Sales, and it's video after video of these brand new vehicles with just ridiculously cheap prices. Unfortunately, that means they get a lot of engagement in the comment section. Where are you located? I'm interested. How do I get more info? Location? I don't know what these pages are really trying to pull, because if anybody actually shows up to these locations, of course these cars are going to be way more expensive than they're advertising. My guess is that their asking price is actually the down payment, and then their down payment that they're advertising is probably the monthly car payment. I don't know. I'm not really sure, because here's another one of a G-Wagon. Asking price $12,000 with a down payment of $700. A G-Wagon's MSRP is what, $160,000 or $180,000? Even if you got this from a car auction because of a bank repo, this car is worth so much more than this, it's ridiculous. So something shady has to be going on with these accounts. I just wanted to let you guys know, but we'll move on to some more examples.
When's the last time you had a car? Do you want a car?
Yes, obviously I want a car. Last time I had a car was about a year ago. I couldn't make the payments.
You got repoed.
Yeah, it was like $615.
This is why I went down this conversational train.
Okay, well.
Oh, for sake. I knew. The fact that you didn't have a car, I knew there had to be a reason. Listen, in Austin, everyone has a car. Oh, for sake, what happened?
I know a lot of people that don't have cars.
I know one person, but okay, different lives. That's fine. Okay, it got repoed a year ago. Well, you're 3 years into your better paying job. What the happened? Because
Well, I mean, that fucks the credit score and makes it really hard to get approved for another car.
But what happened with this repo?
I couldn't make the payments. What do you think happens with the repo?
I'm asking why, because you were still making about $4,000 a month.
Because I was also trying to pay off other debt.
And there you go. She was making some money, $4,000 a month, but not surprising, being on the financial audit, she had a lot of other debt accumulated, so much so that she couldn't afford, I think she said $650 or maybe $615 car payment, and she ended up getting repoed, unfortunately. Another comment from you guys, it's crazy people not understanding they can't maintain an $800 a month car payment for 72 months. People buy way more car than they could afford. And when you start seeing videos like this, the Google searches do not lie.
Oh no, I feel we're heading into dangerous territory. The search phrase, give car back, is hitting record numbers now. I mean, look at it from 2020 to 2025. It is at an all-time high. The search term, give car back, on Google Trends. It's dangerous out there, boys. The economy's not looking good.
So if you do find yourself in this situation, it seems like some just wait it out, play the cat and mouse game, see how long they'll keep their vehicle until it ends up getting repossessed. And honestly, that is not the best move. We have some advice here with this clip.
In a recession, whether we like it or not, car repossessions is at an all-time high. 7.5 million to be exact that have been assigned to agencies. I'm gonna share with y'all some information that y'all might not know about that may help y'all during these times. You have a vehicle and it's facing repossession, do not hide the vehicle. Do not avoid the bank. Banks are in the money business. They're not in the car business. So the last thing they want to do is repossess your car. So what you need to do is call the bank, figure out a payment plan, figure out something that if you can skip a couple months. They want to work with you. They don't want to have to repossess your car and then have to take it and go auction it off and get what little money they're going to get from it. So please don't be scared. I know it's a scary time for y'all, but call them, figure out things first. Figure out if you can make a plan or if they can skip a couple months for you or if they can break the payments in half.
One thing that I do want to add with the banks, they will eventually repo the car and then it'll be auctioned off, but the difference in price from what they sell it at the auction to how much you owe overall on the vehicle, you'll still be on the hook for. It's not like you'll just take the credit hit and they'll take the vehicle, especially if you bought something brand new in the past few years. Depreciation is very swift now. Many people are underwater in their vehicles, so it's worth less than what they owe. So you'll still be getting calls from the bank owing whatever the difference was. And especially with seeing some of the clips like this online, there is a lot of misinformation about this topic.
If they can't find your car in 180 days, which is 6 months, all right, they're going to have to charge it off. They're going to stop trying to repo the car, and now they're going to mark the account as charged off.
No, they will not. I work in repossessions. They get their stuff. Nope, they will call the police and report it as theft. I was in the repossession business for over 20 years. This is completely false. Former repo man, 100% untrue. There are over 5,000 comments on this video, and basically all of them say the same thing. So don't just think if you could hide the car in the garage for 6 months that you'll just be in the clear, you'll be able to keep it scot-free. They're still going to find you because these repo companies are starting to get some crazy technology.
The Repo Reapers are evolving. If you don't remember the last time you paid your car payment, watch out. Alright, so maybe you can tell by the first picture, but this right here is a license plate scanner. And as you guys can see, this is on a regular Toyota Corolla. Alright, so the way these little cameras work is the person that's driving this car, these cameras are looking for license plates in this person designated area. So they get an area they're supposed to drive in. As this person drives around, these cameras are scanning. And no, they're not fixed at any position. They're 360 cameras. So they can look forward, back, side to side, any direction they need to look, they can do so. Alright, so once those little scanners read the license plate that goes back to a car that's currently on the repo status, one or two things is going to happen. First, it's going to alert the driver. They're going to get out and verify the VIN and make sure the car they're looking for. Or two, it's just going to send it back to the tow company and then they're going to do the rest and then the car's going to be gone. Alright, so everybody know how fast those Repo Reapers are when they want you. If they want you, they're going to get you. And some people have gotten away, but it's not very common. So it's probably just going to be either just pay your bills.
So you might not even know that somebody's looking for the vehicle. Of course, if you have one of the big F-350s with the tow on the back driving through the neighborhoods, it's pretty obvious they're looking for repo vehicles. But if they have scanners on the back of an old Corolla or a Ford Fusion, you might have no idea it's coming. Because like the last clip said, these repo drivers do not mess around. Within a minute, you could go from having it sitting in the parking lot or your driveway to just being completely gone. You have to be glued to your vehicle 24/7 just to make sure it's not taken away. It's really not a game that I would want to be playing at all, but we have another comment from one of you guys. You know it's getting real bad when even the cheaper cars are getting repoed. Car insurance and costs are getting insane. That's what I talked about earlier in the video. It's not really surprising when people buy a wildly overpriced Range Rover or GLS 7 Series BMW to flex on others, and then they can't afford the absurd payments, the crazy maintenance that comes with it, the insurance, everything else. But repo lots are starting to get filled up with Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas. No flashy, crazy cars, just everyday commuters. So to me, it's not really surprising when we start seeing news headlines like this.
You know, some of these numbers are pretty staggering, showing Americans are carrying more debt than ever before. A new report from the New York Fed says total household debt reached a record $18.6 trillion from July through September. And here's how that all breaks down. The biggest chunk of debt, $13 trillion, comes from mortgages, which is not surprising given how expensive it is to buy a home. Auto loans and student loans are next at about $1.7 trillion. Then you got credit card debt at $1.2 trillion. All of those are record highs. And when you look at credit cards, cards. Part of what's going on is that more people are using cards instead of cash to make purchases. Overall, consumer spending is up. That's good for the economy. What's not so good is that people are paying higher prices and higher interest rates, and lower income households and younger Americans under the age of 39 are simply falling behind on their payments. The typical borrower carries a balance of about $6,500 on their card. Today's average interest rate of 20%, if you only make minimum payments, you'll end up owing more than $10,000 in interest on that debt over 25 years. So you can see how quickly this snowballs, guys.
So imagine taking that figure with the bad interest rate of 20%, because we still see that on car deals now, and instead of $6,500, it's $65,000. The amount of money you'd have to pay overall just for that car cannot be worth it.
If you've ever wondered why we're on track to hit 1 million repos by the end of 2025, the reason is simple. Nobody has any cash. Nobody has any money. I just sold a truck that I had fixed up over the past year, gotten it roadworthy. I just sold it this last weekend. It took me about a month to sell. 2 years ago, you would have been able to sell your truck within an hour, because the truck market was so hot. But now nobody has any liquidity. Nobody has any money to spare. I was so surprised how long it took me to sell this vehicle, and I ended up having to lower the price multiple times.
Okay, so there are a few things that can be happening with this situation. Maybe he's right. Many people right now just don't have the extra cash to pay for even a used truck, an older model. But with how crazy the market is for pickups overall, I mean, some of the prices, if you look up on Facebook Marketplace, even normal dealerships, the value of these trucks are absurd. So there is a good chance that he just had the vehicle wildly overpriced, and it took several price cuts for somebody to finally bite. But we'll move on to another comment from you guys. The repo man came for mine many years ago. I knew it was coming and I did not fight it. I went out to the carport, removed all my stuff, the tags, etc. The repo man came early morning. I was without a vehicle for months. Lesson learned. All dealerships will sell you a vehicle no matter your financial situation. That statement is very true. Some people will immediately go to blaming the dealerships, the car salesman, which on one hand I do understand. They know that you're getting a terrible deal, but their commission check is going to be pretty good. But at the end of the day, you have to have the knowledge of if you're getting a good deal or not, whether you could afford it genuinely or not. And if you can't, you just have to walk away and say no. Many people don't do that. They get it in their head that they're going to get something brand new. It's going to look super nice. Their ego takes over and they start getting into the debt cycle.
This is how I know the automotive market is in a really bad place. Now, if you watch my videos, you know about the abandoned vehicle problem, which most of them are Nissans. And here lies another beautiful Pathfinder that's stuck here because it's got a bad CVT transmission and nobody wants to pay to fix it. But what you may not know about is auto loan delinquencies, and here lies an auto loan delinquency because they bought a piece of junk. This is a Chevy Cruze, and it's stuck here because it's got a transmission problem that costs thousands of dollars to fix. And the major thing wrong with this car is the customer owes $1,900 on it still. And it being a 10-year-old vehicle that's not worth much in the first place, it's not really worth the repair plus the $1,900 still owed on it. And because of that, I don't really blame them for leaving it here. So here it'll sit right out front until the bank finally decides to sign the title over to me. Because we know they ain't gonna fix that piece of crap either.
Yet another example of one of the normal economy cars being repoed. It is an unfortunate situation, and I think in the end the car's just going to get scrapped. So hopefully my other videos help you search for a good, reliable car that won't end up breaking down and cost you the value of the entire car just to repair it, because then you'd be stuck in a very similar situation.
Your car is 100 days delinquent. So your car's repoed right now.
Yeah, and I can't afford to get out of the repo because it was I think June was the 4th month plus.
Is it the payment
repo
that is due here to get it back? Or have they come to some kind of agreement?
There was some. I wasn't even there for the phone call. My mom called them and they told her,
because you're not an adult.
Yeah.
Apparently. Well, you can't be on the phone call for your own.
I didn't
You
even
have to let your mom take care of everything?
I didn't even know she called them yet, honestly.
What?
Honestly, when we got the car, I thought it was going to be like A-okay. And my mom was like, oh, just give me like $100 every month and like that'll be like your payment. Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about? Why would it go to your mom?
My mom co-signed on the car.
But what did you give money to her and then she makes the rest or something?
Yeah. That was like our agreement.
How'd that go?
Not very well.
How long have you had this? When did you get the car?
In 2022, September. I was
so
after
for 2
a wreck.
years you did it.
Yeah.
So
almost.
what is
barely.
happening now?
I feel like we were behind like the whole time.
We're starting to get into the portion of the video where a lot of people seem like they don't care that much about this. The situation wasn't being taken seriously by her or her mother, it sounds like. Just give me about $100 a month, I'll co-sign it for you, and eventually the repo man shows up. Sounded like they were behind immediately, could not afford it whatsoever, but being so nonchalant about this is a lot more common than I thought. We have another comment from you guys here. I had a coworker that called buying a new BMW a long-term rental. He would buy a new BMW, drive it like he stole it until it was repoed, then buy a new one. He did this 3 times in the year I worked with him. When I asked what his long-term plans were, he said that he would buy a final car and then file for bankruptcy, as if they would let him expunge the loan and keep the car. The last I heard from him, he was complaining that he had $200,000 in debt and that he was having trouble getting put on his bankruptcy filing. Absolutely insane to me. Sounds pretty nuts to me as well, but we're gonna have a little flashback to an older video with this clip because I think it goes very well.
Don't be scared of that repo. Repos don't mean I've had 3 repos. They'll finance you every single time, babe. That is not real. That is a matrix setup. They make you think that all these things are inaccessible if this stuff happens, but it's not true. Get that car, make the payment until you can't anymore, let them take it, stock up for 6 months, take a bus, go buy another car. Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, my uncle subscribes to this method. Car after car, repo after repo. And someone's always there to just keep financing new cars for him though. The bill collectors are calling me and other family members. Like, why do you have my phone number? I'm not part of this. So now you're not only destroying your own life financially, you're impacting your family members as well. She currently owes $63,000 on a 95-month loan for a 1995 Altima with 218 miles. You go, girl. They will absolutely finance you, but you do get punished with an insane interest rate. Another comment here, I'm old enough to remember when banks wouldn't give you a loan if they knew you couldn't afford it. Gone are the days that's the case. We have another screenshot right here. I'm officially reunited with my repossessed car. We'll go over to the description, just $27,000 later. Huge shout out to my parents for making this possible. Words can't explain how thankful I am, and that this was the world's biggest learning lesson. I will never be in this position again. However, you go over to the comments, how late were you on the payments? A couple months with an emoji. Doesn't seem like she's actually this serious about it, just joking with one of these users. And her getting bailed out almost $30,000 from her parents? I highly doubt that she learned anything. I kind of know that the $4 in my bank isn't stopping my car from getting repossessed, so I'm treating myself for my birthday. Just a series of great financial decisions. Me, literally just a girl, getting my car repossessed. Why am I not surprised that the I'm just a girl trend is still going around on TikTok, on social media? It's been years and people still use that excuse. We got a couple of the crazy clips here. Owed $3,000 on a car, now $7,000 for the fender, toe, and radiator as they ripped the car off of the tow truck. I mean, there's another one here, early morning shenanigans with a GMC pickup truck that they pushed off the tow, definitely doing some damage as well. Also adding on to the fact that people are recording this. You could be recorded at any time. Everybody's got a 4K iPhone in their pocket now. So now there's proof of you doing this online forever. I mean, here's another example right here.
Lady, I wouldn't do that. So you guys are probably wondering what the hell's going on here, right? So I do repos and recoveries for this hire company. This car's been hired, the account's been flagged as fraudulent due to maybe a credit card or something. So I go out there, she's been sat there for like an hour according to the GPS tracker. So I go and I wait for my friend to turn up. She's already changed the number plates on the car, which is another red flag. So anyway, my friend turns up, I box her in with my car and I tap on the window. I'm like, hey, you know, please wind the window down. I was super polite to her. Anyway, she refused to wind the window down, and then she did what you saw in the video. She went to put it in reverse, but you could see my bull bar behind her, and then she just sent it and took out the doors, the chairs, everything, nearly hit my friend. So she off. Anyway, GPS is still updating, so we followed her up to somewhere north in a residential area.
And that's kind of all you need to hear for the rest of the story. She tried to get away a few more times, but the car has GPS tracking on it. You cannot get away. On top of now having video proof of you committing even more crimes, the police were called, she got arrested, and probably even more trouble than just giving up the car in the first place. Here we have another clip showing that you need to read the terms of service when signing up for these loan payments, because somebody got repossessed even though they were making their payments all on time.
Someone on TikTok said that her car got repoed even though she made all on-time payments. Now when she said that, in my head I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, you're literally fulfilling your loan, you're making your payments every single month. Out of curiosity, I asked her if she still had insurance on her car, and she said yes. So if she's making her on-time payments and she has full coverage insurance on the car, what's the issue? So it turns out that she was letting her car get rented on Turo. If you guys don't know what Turo is a platform where you can put your car on there and other people can rent it so you can make some money. Now, in her finance contract, when she originally got the car, there's a clause that says that you have to use the car for personal use, not business use. It also went on to say that the car could not be rented out. Somehow, some way, her lien holder found out that she was letting her car get rented out. Now, I had no idea this could even happen. I didn't think that Turo or the lien holder would go that far to try and figure out who's doing what with what car. And that's because there's simply just too many cars on the road to even keep track of all that. But nevertheless, her car ended up getting repoed because of this.
100% insurance claim was filed, and that's how they found out. It's not their business what they do with your car, but a reply makes a very good point. It's not her car though, it's still the bank's. Yeah, you're making the payments on time, but you have not paid in full yet. You do not own the vehicle yet, you're just using it. What if her insurance reported her? Another comment talking about that. I know Turo when renting out vehicles isn't nearly as popular as it was a couple years ago, especially during COVID, but we could go over to the next example of probably one of the worst case scenarios when we're talking about building a rental empire, a fleet, like a lot of the gurus were trying to push.
And just like that, your girl got a job. So come with me to get a car so I can get to that job. I had two major goals in mind. One, get something reliable. Two, get something that's under $30,000. To make matters worse, my freaking interest rate was so high because I did have 15 repossessions due to my Turo business. So then I decided, okay, dealerships suck. Cash cars kind of suck. What should I do? I'm not gonna lie, and y'all gonna hate this, but your girl went to Carvana. No dealership fees. You shop online. It's no pressure. It's nobody pulling your credit 500 times. I wish I would have started here, but I heard so many bad things. I know. However, this is a 2024 Toyota, and it only had 8,000 miles on it.
So it sounds like that Turo business did not go over well. 15 repossessions. I can't even imagine the interest rate. And then going over to Carvana, I have heard a ton of horror stories. You're just swiping on an app, the car seems fine, and then as soon as you get it, it's actually junk. It's pretty widely known that a lot of people will offload their car to Carvana because they actually give you a pretty decent amount of money, but the people buying off of the app usually get the short end of the stick. Hopefully that's not the case with this one. At least it's a Corolla, probably one of the most reliable vehicles you could get. But we could go over to the comments. How'd you put 0 down with 15 repos? And she replies, God. I don't think God had anything to do with it. I bet your payments and interest rate must be unreal though. 15 repos? Carvana is so much more expensive to me, but the concept is cool. I agree with that as well. If it actually worked, you could legitimately take dealers out of the equation. I've just heard way too many horror stories. Yes, she said 15 due to her Turo business. Carvana APRs at 24%. LOL, no thank you. That's definitely the highest amount of repos I've ever heard anybody say. But let's finish off this video with this outlandish clip.
So I'm sitting here reading the comments, and a lot of y'all are wondering how I got my car repoed and why I owed $11,000 on my. Okay, so when I got the car, my credit was only a 250. So I got an APR that was 79%. I signed a 365-month lease on the car, well, finance on the car. So that put my car payments at a little bit over $2,700.
Okay, so we'll cut the video here. It's clearly bait. You legitimately can't get a credit score that low. But to be honest, we've seen stories that had similar situations, as crazy as that sounds. You can't get that type of APR if you go to a normal dealership, you know, Ford, Toyota, something like that. However, if you go to some of the buy here, pay here lots, maybe the shady payday loan companies. I remember we saw a clip of somebody who had either a Dodge Magnum or a Charger, I can't remember. But they gave up the car because they had 120% 15% interest rate on the vehicle, just something that should have honestly been illegal. And the term lengths for all of these loans just keep getting longer and longer. It used to be 60 to 72, now we're seeing 84, 96, the 15-year car loan apparently, and some people are willingly paying thousands, literally 2,000 plus, to be able to drive around in a nice new Mercedes. So even though this clip was completely ridiculous, it's not that far out of the realm of possibilities.
We just broke a new record in the automotive industry, and it is not a very good one. Auto loan delinquencies for subprime borrowers just hit their highest level ever recorded, and it could be signaling a serious problem for the entire car market. According to new data from Fitch, borrowers with credit scores below 620 are falling behind at a rate that we have never seen, with 60-day delinquencies jumping past the 2008 financial crisis peak. As for the driving force behind it, well, it's somewhat of like a perfect storm. We have record high vehicle prices, we have higher interest rates, and shrinking household budgets. Monthly payments that used to average $400 to $500 are now routinely $700 to $1,000. And for many families, that math just isn't really mathing anymore.
You don't say. We could go right over to the comments. Don't worry, guys. We'll solve this with 15-year car loans. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later. Just sold my new car. Payments aren't worth the depreciation, which still probably means they lost a ton of money on that. Who knew $700 a month for a car isn't realistic? Adding on the maintenance, the gas, the insurance. It's a lot more than that already high price tag. And the next comment, insurance prices are also starting to get ridiculous. It feels like they raise their prices every single year. Another comment here, well, the note being $600, but the insurance is $350. So this is the reason why we're seeing clips like this uploaded all the time.
TikTok, got a crazy story for you on this car. This was a first payment default. I sold this car to a lady up in Virginia. It took me about a month to repo this back. Couldn't find the car. Turns out it was with somebody else. I did it. We used multiple recovery services. Cost us a lot of freaking money. So unfortunately, guys, that happens a lot here whenever you use the first payment default banks, but lesson learned. I'm gonna stop kind of using them if I don't have to, but it took us $750 for the repo, $1,700 I sent my boy Bedrock Towing Brian up there to recover this car. Cost us another $400 in keys, so there you go. If I didn't find this car, I was gonna be out $40,000.
So that's why they're going to put a ton of time and money into finding it. It of course had to be a BMW, keeping up with the Joneses, making it look like you're wealthy, even though you have no business in being in the vehicle. But in today's world, that does not matter. The dealerships are going to try any way they can to get you to drive off their lot with a brand new vehicle, even if it's a horrendous deal for you.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Steve-O Got Me Rolling. Today, I got my dog D-Money approved on this 2022 Chevy Silverado 3/4 ton diesel 4x4. How's your experience here today, bro?
Hey, bro, look, Steve-O and Chris, they're the truth. Come with them, get you a car, they're gonna get you rolling.
That's all you need. That's it. Congrats, bro. If you're in the market for a vehicle, all you need is your ID mail. Shoot me a DM at Steve-O Got Me Rolling. We'll get you rolling off today.
Now, I know these types of clips and creators do make a lot of bait content just for the engagement online, but even with how ridiculous this was, it's not too far away from the truth. When you're talking about those big pickup trucks, it's $1,000 to $1,500 a month. They are wildly expensive now, and a prime candidate to get repoed when you fall behind. Here we got another one of an 18-year-old with no credit or a cosigner, but he absolutely had to have that luxury car.
We have an 18-year-old customer who came in without credit, with no cosigner, and he got his first car loan for an Audi A4. Let's go out there, find out how an 18-year-old without any credit got a first car loan with no cosigner to back him up. Is this your first car loan? Yeah. Yeah, congratulations. That's a beautiful car too. 18 years old, getting a 2018 Audi.
Let alone the problems a used German car is going to give this kid. Magically, in this video, they don't talk about the actual deal, how much he's paying, the interest rate, because I bet it's brutal and will most likely turn into a situation like this. In your 20s, you'll decide to get a 2025 Buick Envision Sport with payments of $1,225 for a Buick. That's insane in and of itself. It's very important you don't do it. You'll end up getting it repossessed and get horrible credit. And this messes you up for the foreseeable future. Especially if you live in the US, most people need a vehicle to go to and from work, to go to the grocery store. Everything is much more spread out and public transportation is not the best. Bank repossessed my car after failing to pay the monthly payments. Some of the comments are interesting, but you drove it. All matters. You owned it. What does that even mean? Clearly you didn't actually own the vehicle, the bank did, and they took it back. But I guess as long as some people saw you drive it around in public, it's all worth it, I guess. At least you saw yours being towed. Mine, when I came back to the parking space, boom, car's gone. I can't recover from this trauma. Even this one on screen, Miami playing no games today, with a McLaren and a Mercedes Maybach being towed away. This doesn't surprise me coming from Miami. It seems like everybody there is trying to make it look like they're the richest person on the planet, most likely to sell you a course, funny enough. And if any of that income dries up, boom, all the cars are gone. We could even go over to the comment section. When people see expensive cars in the back of a tow truck, they automatically think repo. I don't think that's the case here. There's a reply to that. It's more than likely a repo. No one's towing away a McLaren in anything other than a flatbed unless it's a parking violation or a repo. Very good point. More than likely a repo when you see cars of that magnitude being towed away like that. And I would like to add on, especially being in Miami, because we got an example here of a guru living in that area, making it seem like he makes millions of dollars and he owns this hypercar, but that's not the case.
What's up, guys? I've got my boy Vincent Fisher here. This is probably the 4th or 5th car we've bought him in the last year. Guy's 22. He's definitely the youngest in the world with a hypercar. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, he just snapped. He just bought a 3-point-something million car. I'll let you guys find out how much he paid for this thing.
So it's just another Lamborghini, and I'm the youngest person to have a hypercar, only 22 years old. I don't think I really have to tell you this is just another course seller, but just a few short months later, funny enough, this video pops up on TikTok.
Behind me here is the rental Lamborghini Sion that you can get for like $50,000 a month, and if you end up back here because it gets repoed, that's all right too, but it looks pretty good. Some people just buying things that they kind of can't really afford, but just to try to flex online, and then it gets repoed and put back in the dealership just a few months later. Not bad.
And the entire comment section knew exactly who he was talking about, Vincent's car. And even though this is a very extreme example, of course we're talking about $1 million+ cars, this is happening across the board at any price point. We got a comment from you guys right here. This repo crisis is getting out of hand. I worked at a dealership and I'm seeing more cars come back in the last 6 months than in the previous 2 years combined. People are stretched so thin that one unexpected bill can throw their entire payment plan off. It's honestly sad to watch. And here we could take a look at a pretty rough example of that.
They repossessed this van from a man with no legs. You think the bank cares? They don't care. Everybody's just a number. This guy had no legs, Social Security income, fell behind on his payments, and the bank went and picked him up. You think you're safe with your excuses? My kid got sick. My dog. My cat. Oh my God, it's slow at work. Nobody cares. This guy has the best excuse in the world. He's got no legs. They said, yo, you missed your payment, Papa. We're gonna pick it up. Look at this. Look how sad this is. It's not even a van with power doors. Oh my God, the poor guy.
So if we're seeing examples like this, nobody's safe. They're gonna go after everyone. And I have seen a lot of people put out completely false information, saying if you could hide the vehicle for more than 6 months from the repo man, that the slate is just wiped clean and you got away with it, which is just completely false, along with how much tech they use constantly to search for you.
So this is why I be trying to tell y'all, when y'all out there repossessing, out there and not paying your bills and stuff, all kind of cameras catch you, everything. So we know where you are. We know. So when y'all see a car like this right here ride through your neighborhood and it's got them cameras on top of it, and cameras over there on top right there, those are cameras catching your license plates. Those are repo companies using that to catch your license plate.
So you might not even know it's coming. Of course, if there's a big tow truck coming down your block, it's pretty obvious the reason why they're there. But if this tiny Chevy Spark just drives on by and you don't notice the small cameras on top, they could have already locked on your license plate and are coming after you. And if we're talking about modern vehicles with all of their tech and electronics, we're probably not too far away from this comment here. These new smart cars will probably just lock you out and then drive themselves to the repo. A clip on screen goes very well with this. Imagine you miss a payment and this happens, and the car just automatically stops without you doing anything. I believe Ford made a patent for this around 6 months to a year ago. It's not 100% out on all vehicles right now, but it seems like it's in the works. Then we could go over to a couple of examples of just making your entire situation way worse when everybody's walking around with a 4K camera in their pocket.
Where are you gonna go? Hey, you're gonna get rid of my car.
Hey, somebody call the cops? You ain't gonna fit through, homie! Get the cops coming, guys. Thank you.
Property damage, jail time, court fees, damage reimbursement to the bank for the car damage is going to cost you a lot more than just paying the car note. Plus the damage to the truck when he drove off, the damage to the building itself as well. All this for a $6,000 Buick is insane. Talking about the first clip, the dude when his transmission fried. And there's multiple angles uploaded on TikTok from that Buick clip. There's no way you're getting away with it. We got another comment from you guys right here. People can't afford cars because every car is sold as a luxury car and priced as one. Why is a Honda Civic with no features selling for $28,000 after taxes? Half the car is plastic. But it's okay, everyone. We have the solution now. We'll just start rolling out 15-year car loans. That'll keep the monthly payments down. Just completely ignore the fact that you'd be paying so much more in the end.
Would you take out a 15-year loan on a car? Because apparently that's an option that might be coming. Like, we saw 96-month loans and we're like, oh my God, we're just going to skip straight to 180 months. I'm getting this from a government announcement where they said in order to make things more affordable, we're going to offer 50-year mortgages and 15-year car loans. I will tell you, as someone in the industry, if a 15-year car loan becomes an option, do not do it. If you look at a $40,000 car and you finance it for 60 months, your payment's probably going to be somewhere in the upper 8s with rates where they are right now. If you do a 15-year car loan on a $40,000 car, yeah, your payment's going to be somewhere in like the mid 3s, but you're going to be paying back like 80 grand for this car. Same principle goes for this 50-year mortgage thing they're trying. Like, what? You will own nothing and you will like it. I mean, that is just insane to me.
So we can go over to the comments, or for specialty vehicles / toys like a Corvette that you plan on keeping forever and spend most of the time in the garage. Especially in today's consumer culture, that rarely ever happens. Even if you finally purchase your dream vehicle you've been waiting forever, very few people actually keep their cars for their entire life. Maybe they purchase it and it's not as good as what they thought. Or a new Corvette comes out and it's way faster, way cooler looking. Then you sell the car with a bunch of negative equity, go buy the new one, and the cycle continues. Banks are thinking they're getting a long-term windfall, but they're going to eat a ton of negative equity on repos and insurance rates will climb. Everyone who takes this option will have negative equity the entire time they have the car. And another very good point from you guys in the comments, the cars aren't even lasting as long as the loan. We've gone over it a ton of times with modern cars. They are not built to last. So what happens when your brand new SUV dies before the 15-year loan is up? You're still going to be paying something that's been junked. But it doesn't matter to some people. As long as they look wealthy and they're able to show off car after car to everybody else, they're going to keep putting themselves in terrible financial situations.
I wanted to run by your options. It says you had a recent repossession. Can you tell me what happened there?
I'm not sure what that is.
This is essentially when you had a loan with a previous car and the bank picked up the vehicle because you didn't make the payments.
I took out a loan on the car that I had. Maybe that's what it is.
Did you finance a car before that one?
Yeah, I financed the one before.
What happened with that one?
I'm late on that payment. It needs an engine.
How late are you on that car?
A month and a half late.
Even if the car is inoperable, if you have a loan or a lien on it from a bank, you'll still be financially obligated for that loan. Do you have any money down to get into a car?
I do not have any money down, no.
Here's the problem we have, right? You had a loan with them showing 13 payments past 90 days. And unfortunately, to get a finance car, the bank's going to want to have to see some good payment history. And with no money down and a 500 credit score, we can't get you into a car. Bank's going to look at your whole credit profile mix. Your credit cards, your bills, your cars, all of them are like over a year of past due payments. It wouldn't be able to get a car, unfortunately. I would just tell you to get a cash car for like $2 or $3 grand and just try to fix your credit.
All right.
How do you not even know what a repossession is? I'm not 100% on this situation because it sounded like the last 2 vehicles she had, she was late on the payments, one got repoed, and the other one's more than a month late because the engine's blown, so it seems like that's only a matter of time. Not only that, she calls this creator to try to get another car, has absolutely no money, nothing to put down, and she just thought she'd be able to get some sort of deal with at least one repo on her record. I honestly don't understand some people's thought process.
My car got repoed. Do I care? No.
Am I lying? Yes. You think I want to be catching public transportation in the wintertime? I still got to get to where I got to get to. Just because I don't have a car, you think I'm not going to go to work? That car was just something that helped me get to where I wanted to be a little bit quicker. Anyway, come with me to get on this bus up to the bank so I can go take some money out and go about my day.
Okay, so I hope that he's going to the bank to take out money to be able to pay off his repossessed car, because if not, that's just a wild decision. But even if that is the case, wouldn't you have already paid it down before it got repossessed so you didn't have to take public transportation in the winter? I don't know about this one. The comment section doesn't make me feel any better. Try to get a new car before it hits your credit. I think it goes on after 30 days. And the creator responds, let me do some research real quick. Well, if you didn't have money to pay the first vehicle and that's why it got repoed, how do you think you're going to pay for the second one whatsoever?
Y'all, my car just got repoed 2 days ago. My credit is only a 484. I only had $300 in my name. So, what y'all think? Because I thought I was going to have nowhere to work. I thought I was going to have to Uber it out until me and my husband was able to afford another car. But God said no. God said no. You will be getting a car today, 2025. And I could not believe it. I'm like, God, what are you talking about? No, wrong person. But God did it, y'all. Like,
Okay, so I wanted to put this in because we've seen a lot of videos similar to this. Putting your finances, your decisions in the hands of God. I highly doubt that you just woke up and a 2025 vehicle was just magically parked in your driveway. Now, what probably happened is that she signed up for an absolutely terrible deal to get a new vehicle, super high monthly payments along with brutal interest rates, and talking about it being from a higher power. I don't know why that's more common than I thought, but as you could see by the creator turning off the comments, you could guess people's reaction to this entire situation. Very odd.
2.2 million vehicles have been repossessed this year. And it's looking like it's going to hit 3 million. And you know the last time it hit 3 million was the 2009 recession. So, if some people still think that there is not a issue with just everything, it's pretty insane. $50,000 for an average vehicle. Most new cars, they just came out with the statistics, is $749 a month at a 6.8% interest rate. Used cars are $579 a month at an 11.6% interest rate.
You mean there are people out there living beyond their means? Well, that's just shocking. That's why we have an entire series on this channel just going over that topic. And another good point from you guys right here, funny thing is, once the economy is better, the same people will do the same thing. Because that's the argument right now. I'm stretched very thin. I could barely afford these car payments. But going back to 2020, when people were doing better, had more expendable income, the exact same thing happened, purchasing vehicles they had no business being in.
Repo the 2019 Chevy Malibu out of nowhere. You're trying to figure out what exactly is happening. You see the ring camera footage of the tow truck coming into your driveway, pulling off with your car, and you're immediately saying, oh my God, my car is being stolen. You reach out to the police department. They say, no, it's not being stolen. It does look like it is on recovery, so it is being repossessed. You reach out to your lending company, and you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. You said that you've paid your payments. You're actually ahead on your payments, and you don't know what is going on. Why is your vehicle being repossessed? You're saying the loan company is trying to fraud you into paying more money because now you have to pay the storage fee as well as the tow fee for the vehicle. One company is saying, unfortunately, we are not able to have this vehicle released. It does look like there's a balance of $12,528 that needs to be paid in full before anything can be done. The loan company lets you know, unfortunately, we cannot do a payment plan. There's no negotiations. You just have to pay the money up front because the balance is due for the vehicle. In the victim statement, she's asking, why is it so high? I want an itemized breakdown. You're holding my vehicle hostage and I have to get around to make sure that my kids have somewhere to go as well as I'm able to get to work. One company said again, the vehicle cannot be returned until the payment is in full.
Okay, so we could go over to the comments. This happened to me. The cops took my car saying it was reported stolen. I had to get my own car back and then fight for my money back as well. As someone who works in this area, none of this story is plausible. They broke the contract in some way, shape, or form. Companies just can't go around repoing units for no reason. Another one here, there's probably some breach of contract, it sounds like. For example, some lenders don't want customers putting their vehicles on Turo or doing gig/rideshare jobs. And if they by some means find out this is happening, they repo as collateral. And that is a perfect transition into the next clip.
Yes, it's true that if you do DoorDash or rent your car out on Turo, do Uber Eats, you have a high chance of getting your car repossessed. Lenders have data companies that do the research for them to see where these cars are at, to see if they're on these different platforms being used for business. And if your lender finds out that you're using your car for anything but personal use, they have the right to repossess your vehicle. Now, to me, it seems a little bit invasive that they can collect this data and use it against you, but that's neither here nor there. It's a little bit above me. And it doesn't even matter to the lender if you've been making on-time payments, you put a fat down payment down, you got a good interest rate, you got good credit. It doesn't matter. You know, if you breach the contract, they are well within their right to take back their asset.
Now, there was a lot of people angry in the comment section saying that it should be completely fine as long as you're making your payments. But at the end of the day, the banks own the car. You don't own it until you paid in full. So even if you haven't had a single late payment, you could still have your vehicle repossessed. Now we could go over to a pretty crazy story of somebody actually legitimately stealing cars, making it look like they're the repo man.
We've been getting reports of vehicles being stolen by an unmarked tow truck in San Bernardino County, and the latest theft was caught on camera.
Yeah, Brandon Hurtado says someone took his Toyota Tacoma over the New Year holiday. It was parked on White Ash Road in San Bernardino. Here you see a tow truck rolling away with it in the middle of the night. Hurtado says after sharing his story on social media, he's heard of at least a dozen similar thefts, with some of the stolen vehicles possibly being taken to Victorville.
For my truck, I do wish I get it back, but I honestly think it's a possibility that it's either shipped out or it's scratched for parts. But for the people out there, I hope, they keep close attention to their cars more, because I know what I've been through. I don't want them to go through that.
But at the same time, how are you actually going to be able to look out for your car 24/7? This guy clearly came at the dead of night. And even taking into consideration this comment here, there's too much technology for people not to have trackers on their vehicle. Okay, that's fine, but probably by the time you'd figure out where it is gone, either across the border, scrapped for parts. I saw that tow truck on Bear Valley in Victorville about 2 weeks ago. And then the next comment, that vehicle is long gone. So I mean, there's not much you could do about this one, just a very scary situation. We got another comment from you guys right here. Those $1,200 down, $10,000 price posts for brand new cars are scams. They ask you for a deposit to hold onto the car, and then you get ghosted. So if you don't know what they're talking about, I've gone over this a couple of times on this channel, because when I look up videos for this topic, I see this all the time. Just a screenshot of one of the examples right here. Price $7,500, down payment $400 for a 2022 Cadillac Escalade. Even with the depreciation hit, this is a very expensive vehicle. It is not $7,500. It is way more. And they name these scam accounts like banked repossessed cars, trying to make it look a little bit more legitimate, but they have WhatsApp numbers or Telegram links where you got to go and message them. They'll probably ask for a deposit of $400, the down payment. And if you give it to them, you'll get blocked and ghosted and be completely out all of your money. Just something to be aware of, because I'm seeing more and more of these accounts pop up every single day. But we could finish off this video with some evidence that even the bad statistics coming out now about car repos are actually much worse than they're showing.
Well, right now, we're having auto loan delinquencies that are spiking. We can see it in the data. We see it from CarMax. We can see it from Carvana, two of the largest, if not the largest, used car dealers in the U.S., that their auto loan delinquencies going up, but their repo rates are staying flat, and it's the same with both companies. Well, how can that be? That doesn't make sense. Yes, you're right, it doesn't make sense. If people are not paying their bills, if the amount of people that are 3 months behind on their car payments are going up, then shouldn't the repo rates be going up? Shouldn't CarMax and Carvana be repoing cars left and right? Yeah, they should be, but they're not. So there's two scenarios. They're just kicking the can down the road. But there's two scenarios why this could be happening. And so what I think is actually happening in scenario two, I think that CarMax and Carvana are both thinking the exact same thing. And they're thinking that, okay, if we start raising these alarm bells about the R word, the repo crisis that could and should be occurring right now, then what's going to happen to our stock price? And at the end of the day, their number one objective is to keep their stock price as high as possible for their investors.
So they're legitimately not repoing cars that should be taken away just so their stock price stays a little bit higher. But hearing that makes me think that this situation is even worse than what we're already hearing. They just haven't gone and called the tow truck companies yet, but eventually one day they will. And there's a ton of people who buy from CarMax and Carvana, so the number of repos could get higher and higher. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.